Hey guys, now Luna here. Welcome back, I guess, because I haven't done this for a really, really long time. Welcome back to Inside the Artist Studio, the show where I interview various different artists with various different talents. My guest today is someone that I have a close connection with, professionally and personally. He is a partner, a mentor, and most of all, a friend. From his top 10s to his triggered and mind-blowing series, he's left quite the mark on YouTube as one of the most dedicated content creators of our time, and certainly the most dedicated one that I know personally. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nathaniel Thomas Bandy.
Wow, that was quite the intro. Damn. Holy crap.
I like to go a little bit more in depth with these. A little bit more
That was nice.
Feely. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nate, for granting me this interview.
Dude, of course. If I said no, then...
Could you imagine?
I don't think I would be able to say no.
Contractually, I made you sign.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, so I started this show, I guess, quote unquote, back in like 2014, because Mike Pollock, the voice of Eggman, I found out that he did interviews, so I was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna do that, and then that was around the time I was with Frederator, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna interview a bunch of like different people on the platform, and I interviewed like 3 people.
Oh man!
And I only put like 2 of them on YouTube, and like no one gave a shit. But I feel like this time people will care, mostly because it's other content creators, and people that most likely know you guys. So this isn't going to be just me asking questions. I do want it to be a little bit more like this is about you. So you feel free to talk about as much as you want, as little as you want. And I guess without further ado, we'll just start the questions. I want you looking at them.
I can't really read it.
Oh,
anyway.
okay, good. Okay, so I guess this is kind of a dumb little thing, but I do like to ask people to talk a little about themselves before we get into it, just so that we know like how they see themselves and what they do and everything.
Like, what specifically do you want to know?
Well, I don't know. Like, what do you do? What do you like doing?
What do I do? Well, I mean, I've pretty much dedicated my entire life to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my life. I mean, I have that. Sometimes I hang out with friends. I eat. Sometimes I sleep a little bit. But like, my life is pretty much all YouTube, and I guess I'd say I'm pretty happy with the lifestyle. It's also very unhealthy. Would not recommend you to do it unless you're really passionate about what you're doing.
Right.
But I'm pretty happy to be in the position that I am.
That's good. That's awesome. So where are you from and where did you go? Because where you're from is something that's kind of been a little bit of an enigma to me, just because I know you've been so many places.
Yeah. So my dad was in the military. He was in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
So I have basically traveled my entire life. So I was born in Virginia.
Okay.
Then we traveled to California for a couple years, then for Michigan for a couple years, then to Kansas for 1 year, then Norway for 3 years, Minnesota for 3 years, and now back on the East Coast. And I've kind of been here ever since.
Nice. So the decision to come here, like come back to Virginia, like where you were born, that was your parents, right?
Yeah, that was my last. Well, my dad retired from the Army. He was in there for 20 years. The last place that we moved to was in the East Coast. And that's basically where I've been ever since. I've been here since, I think, like 2007 or something. So it's been over 10 years. It's really weird staying in the same place so much.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
My entire life, I'd always just moved all the time to all sorts of different places.
Yeah.
So I think it's always going to be weird for me to not be like traveling all the time. And I recently bought a place, and now it's like, wow, I'm really staying somewhere for a while.
Yeah,
that's weird.
That's a good point. Now, I guess as kind of a side question, because even that was a side question, but because I have a very similar thing where like I've kind of been not like as much as you were like to a lot of different places, but do you ever consider like a place your home? Like, did you ever have a place where you're like, this is what I think of when I think of home?
What do you mean, like, exactly? Just like one place?
Yeah, like one place, like the place I visited, maybe the first house you were in Virginia, I don't know. Well,
okay.
That might have been a long time ago.
Yeah, maybe I guess like the first place I really considered home was like in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, like where I am now, obviously I consider that home. And my parents, they've moved pretty far away. I consider that.
Whoops.
I consider that home as well. So I guess like a lot of different places.
That's good, yeah. So, being that you're a content creator, when I pitched the idea of an interview with you, you were reluctant to call yourself an artist, but I think many of the things that you've done are artistic. That being said, what art do you practice?
What art do I practice?
Yes.
I just make videos, really. I mean, I guess
true.
you could consider that art. It's a pretty gray area, like what you would consider art. Like, I'm not really drawing anything. Like, basically, the goal is just to, like, make something that's either really interesting to watch or it's, like, really entertaining to watch, basically.
Right, of course. Right. At what point in your life did you know you wanted to become a content creator? Because originally, you studied for film.
Yeah, well, I actually got a degree in film.
Yeah.
I never knew that I wanted to do this until it actually happened. It just kind of happened. I started uploading YouTube videos around, like, I'd probably say, like, 2007, actually. But I didn't start taking it seriously until, like, 2012, 2013. That's when I was uploading more frequently. And it was just for fun until, like, 2 years ago when, like, it really started to take off. And I had to make the decision of, am I going to do YouTube full time and be crazy, or am I going to get it like an actual job? And YouTube had like really started to pick up like my last semester of college. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to do this. I don't know why I'm doing this, but once I graduated, everything like really exploded a lot. So I guess I made the right decision.
Yeah, the timing was just super right.
Yeah, I was in the right place at the right time, I would say.
Yeah. That's awesome. What process did you go through in becoming a content creator? Because for a lot of people, it's really different experiences.
I think for everyone it's different. Everyone has a different process in terms of how they make videos, how frequently they do it. For me, it's always been different. I've done daily uploads in the past. I've done weekly uploads, and now I'm doing like 3 to 4 videos a week, which I think eventually I'm going to go back to like 1 to 2 a week. But I think it's different for everybody.
Right. If you can recall, when and how did you become interested in film, given that it's your major?
This was, I think I was like 11 or 12 years old. I was visiting my grandparents' house, and my grandfather had a webcam, and this was in 2004 before YouTube existed.
Wow.
So this, like, there was no like uploading videos to anywhere. It was just like goof around with the camera. So
was it like one of those ball cameras?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
sweet.
Horrible. 144p.
Yeah.
The audio was total trash. So yeah, that's what I worked with. I remember my granddad showed it to me. I made a couple videos with him. They were like really stupid things. I've actually uploaded a handful of those to my second channel for anyone that is interested. But yeah, I basically just like messed around with that camera for a little bit. And then my parents gave me like this giant camcorder thing. It's like it's freaking huge, and it wasn't very good. But they gave me that, and I tried to make an actual movie with my sister when I was like 12 years old, and it took us like a year to make.
Wow.
And it didn't turn out very good because, you know, I was 12 years old, didn't know what I was doing. But that was like when I really started to get interested in film. Like, I loved how like you can manipulate like anything you do. Like, I love how like you can just like make something perfect if you really put enough effort into it. I've always thought that was really cool.
Right. Yeah. It's your own thing.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I know your family a little bit, but tell me, is anyone else in your family an artist or at least artistic? Like, like maybe not artistic, but like that does what you do?
No one in my family does what I do. I'm the oddball in the family, I would say. My sister does drawing, but that's just a hobby. I don't think she draws very much. But everyone in my family was military. My dad was the military. My sister's married to someone in the military. My granddad was in the military. That's just on my dad's side. On my mom's side, a lot of her family was also in the military.
I see.
So, yeah.
Yeah, just a military family.
Yeah. I remember actually in high school, I was doing really, really poorly. And my parents tried to tell me like that I had to do the military. So like I went to a station and I hated it so much. I'm like, no, I'm going to go to community college. I really don't like this. But like my grades were horrible. So yeah, I just remember like my parents really struggled to like get used to me like not going to the military like everyone else in our family, but I really just didn't want to do that. It didn't seem like the thing for me.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that I didn't end up doing that.
So am I, because I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, here's where we're getting into more personal, quote unquote. What is the Frustration series?
What is the Frustration series? Well, I don't think a lot of people really know what it is. This was inspired by the Angry Video Game Nerd. So he's like basically my biggest inspiration. Everyone knows who he is. He makes the Angry Game Reviews. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to do like angry Let's Plays. So that's kind of how it started. I remember one day I was playing Smash Bros. Melee and I couldn't beat one of the event matches. I was getting so mad at it. Event 37, the one with Ness, you have to beat 5 characters.
Oh, God, yeah.
That one, I was struggling so much. So I'm like, I'm going to turn on a camera. I'm going to take, I remember I had my iPod Nano, which was recording my face cam, and then just a normal camcorder recording the TV. And I synced those together, and I was like, all right, I'm going to beat this Melee on camera. And it just kind of I just called it, I remember, SSBM Event 36 Frustration or something like that. It's not on my channel anymore. I don't have that series on my channel at all. It's all on the second channel now. But that's basically what it is. It started as Angry Let's Plays, and after a couple years, it started to like turn into this weird story thing where at the end of every single game, there was these characters, the Spirit and the Angel. They were kind of like, my good side and my bad side. And we just made like this really silly story, and we did a bunch of like skit stuff. And people still ask me about this series to this day, and I don't know why. I haven't touched it in like 4 years now.
I know.
I think that's hilarious.
I think that what it is, well, at least to me, because I remember it was you. I think it was still going on when we met. Like it was like the last few episodes you were making, maybe. Well, you said 4 years.
We ended it like I think a year or two after I met you, because I met you in 2015. Yeah, I remember. I think you're right. I think it ended like the end of 2014. Because at that point, I was ready to move on to like other things.
Right.
So, yeah.
And just the idea of it, like a series revolved around Let's Plays. Like not a Let's Play series, but a more, like what you do now, like the NBA Originals.
It was like, I guess, a better idea to describe it. Like, it was kind of like a Let's Play with a story behind it.
Exactly.
That's basically what it was. And the thing was, no one really cared about the Let's Play videos. They cared about the big finales at the end, because that's where all of the story happened. And like what we would do is we would tie the games together with the story. So like when we did Super Mario Bros., me and the Spirit was acting as Bowser. He could breathe fire. I was Mario. And I was throwing fireballs and ice balls at him and all this really cool stuff. And then, like, for Mega Man 2, we had, like, this 2D fight where the Spirit was one of the bosses. I was Mega Man. And we were shooting, like, busters at each other and doing, like, slide kicks and stuff. So that was kind of, like, the idea, basically.
Right. And that kind of evolved into what you, like, the NBA Originals that you do now, kind of.
Yeah. So when I did stop the Frustration series, it was because the finales were just stressing me out a lot. I actually had a lot of help with the script around the end, because like I just couldn't keep up with everything, because I was also doing college on top of all of this.
Right.
And then the NBA Originals is kind of like the resurrection of the finale videos from the Frustration series. So like Super Mario 74, the whole thing was like a sitcom. Mario 74 Extreme Edition was like kind of like a big throwback to the Frustration videos. Super Smash Flash 2. We're reviewing the games, and then it turns into like fights from the characters in those games. So that's, I guess I'd call it like a resurrection.
Right. Yeah. Who is the Faceless Board Breaker?
The Faceless Board Breaker. So not a lot of people know this. They were my very first videos on my channel. This was like 2007. There's like a few thousand people that have gone back and watched all my videos, and then they're always asking like, "What the heck is this?" Well, I think I was like 13 when I uploaded that video. There's a face over it because my mom was like, "You're not allowed to show your face." So it's really funny too, because nowadays, YouTube has updated their video player. So like basically the video like looks different than it used to back in the day, because back then you couldn't see my face at all the way that I edited it. But now like the frame rate's kind of different for some reason, and there's like a couple frames in every one of those videos you can see my face.
That's so weird. Yeah, because I went back and watched like the very first one, and I was like, why? I guess like you must have recorded at like 24 or something, and YouTube just converts it to 30.
Well, back then I didn't even know what the frame rate was.
Oh yeah, no.
I was just turning on the camera.
Right.
So I remember back then I was like, I don't even know why I made those videos, honestly. I was playing with Legos with my sister, I think. I was like, oh, we should do some videos. Because, like, back then I was in martial arts. I was like, oh, I'm going to break the Lego boards and maybe it'll be cool. I don't know.
Yeah. I actually have some videos with my... I don't know if I still have them on this laptop or where I have them. It was just a silly thing because my sister and I had to, like, it was kind of like a board game where we would just, like, flick flies into a frog's mouth. And it would rotate. And we just recorded that for no reason. I never did anything with it.
Yeah, I think it's fun for, kids and teenagers to just kind of, like record something and then just kind of, like, see it back.
Yeah.
And it was very different recording back then as a teenager than I think it is now. Because when you record a video nowadays, everyone's only thinking about, like, ooh, how many views is this going to get?
Right.
But, like, I never thought about that back then. No one did because, that it was just like a completely different mindset in terms of making, online videos.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't about popularity. It wasn't about
no
money.
One cared about that.
Yeah, it was just about like, I want to share this with people, and if they see it, awesome
and cool. Yep.
Yeah. What is Narrow Cathgor?
Narrow Cathador, that was my original channel name.
Okay, where does it come from? I know you explained this to me before, but like, where does it come from?
So when I was like 8 years old, I think it was a GameStop account or GameSpot. I forgot what website. It was some gaming website. I had some username and I had some password. I put in passwords like 5 times and none of them would work. The sites kept telling me, do a different password. So I mashed my fingers, hit enter, and that was my password. That was Narrow Cathador. And for whatever reason, I decided to make that my YouTube channel name.
It's really unique.
Don't ask. I don't know why. It's probably a good thing I changed that name.
Yeah. Could you imagine if that was still your name today?
I don't think I would have nearly as many subs. Like, no one would know what that is.
Oh, how do you spell it again? Like
NAEROIKATHGOR.
Hey, there you go. I got it right.
I'll never forget that. And that was like the only time I ever used that password too. So I don't know why that stuck out in my mind. It just kind of did.
And the cool thing is it's still your YouTube URL to this day.
I don't know if I'd call that cool.
Well, it's a thing. I don't know if I'd say it's cool.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so you mentioned before that AVGN was like your main like inspiration behind YouTube.
Yeah.
But who would you describe as your influences for both film and YouTube?
For both film and YouTube. See, the funny thing is, I wasn't really ever influenced by anyone. That's like, in the mainstream media. And I think that's because, like, you don't feel attached to them. Right. Like, it wasn't until YouTube where I actually felt attached to, like, the Angry Video Game Nerd. It just felt more personalized. And I think that's why people love YouTubers. I think that's why, people are starting to like YouTubers more than, like, mainstream celebrities. It's because you feel like you understand them more, even though you really don't. It just kind of seems like that because the videos aren't nearly as produced and just more personalized overall. Right. So
there's more of a connection between like the content creator and the audience, even though there isn't really one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can kind of make a connection, with the comments, and if you're streaming, you can respond to Twitch chat. But even then, like, that's still not like face to face. It's not really the same thing.
Of course.
So that's just me, though. I know a lot of people are inspired by like celebrities, but I just never found myself to be, I guess.
That's cool. What is your favorite thing about being a content creator?
I really like the freedom. I think that's the big thing. Like, I've worked other jobs in the past, and you're always told exactly what to do, and you can't really, change that. But nowadays, sorry about that.
That's fine. Are you seeing this? I'm just kidding.
All right. But nowadays, if there's like a video I don't want to make, I can just say, no, I don't want to do it because it's my own channel.
Exactly.
So that's probably my favorite part about it, is just the freedom.
What is your least favorite thing about being a content creator?
Never having a break.
That's a very good point.
That is my biggest thing. And I know there's still people out there miraculously that are like, oh, you're just playing video games. But like, trust me, it's not like that at all.
No, it is not.
Like if anyone swapped places with me, I don't think anyone would like it that much.
Just like, I don't even have time.
Like, it's funny because like, I don't remember the last game I've played a game leisurely. I don't, because everything I play, like literally everything pretty much, is for work. I'm recording footage. I'm I'm analyzing the game. I'm not just like sitting back and chilling. I don't even know how to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't. I just work all the time.
And if you do, you're streaming it.
Exactly. Yeah. Chilling is streaming, so it's still technically work because you got to talk to your chat, which it's not the most difficult work of all time, but it is still work nonetheless.
Exactly. Yeah. And like that happens with every new release that comes out, so it's like
exactly
you don't even get to it. It's not that you don't get to enjoy it. It's just that, like you said, it's still kind of work.
Yeah, I think like the last game I tried to play leisurely was Mario Odyssey. And obviously I was working at the same time. Like I was writing the triggered script and the mind-blown script while playing it, but there were a lot of portions of the game where I didn't really have anything to write, so I could actually just enjoy myself playing.
Right.
But that doesn't happen very often. Most, like, recently I did Detective Pikachu. I didn't really want to play that game, but I thought it would be really entertaining, and I was kind of, like, interested in it.
Right.
And, like, halfway through, I'm like, God, I'm so sick of playing this. But I had to finish it for work.
Right, yeah.
So that happens to a lot of people.
Like, what could you imagine, like, if 10 years ago or 20 years ago, whatever, people told us, like, people are going to be playing video games for, like, a living. And, like, not just beta testing, but, like, actually playing finished products.
Yeah.
For money. Like,
it's crazy.
For work.
Yeah.
It's weird. Now, you practice various different things like writing your own scripts, doing the voiceover, filming, editing. Out of all the different parts of the creative process you practice, which is your favorite and why?
It really depends on the video. I would say most of the time I like editing because, like I said earlier, I like, trying to make something really like something that you can like perfect. If there's any mistakes, you can just kind of get rid of it. I've always enjoyed that aspect of film. But sometimes I also like doing the script. Like it's I never really get tired of writing scripts for triggered videos or mind-blowing videos because it's really fun. Just like, I don't know, it's just really fun like writing for those, I guess.
How has your time on YouTube changed or enriched your life as both a content creator and as a person?
Well, it's definitely made me very, very disciplined. That's for sure. If you aren't disciplined, if you can't manage your time, that's another big thing. Time management. Yes. If you can't do those two things and you're not passionate, then you can't do this job. Just straight up.
And you'd say like this has changed that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, obviously like just having normal jobs would do the same thing, but it feels different like when it's your own because you kind of like control your destiny in a weird way. I know people say that the algorithm, destroys channels like if you don't upload enough, but I think even then, like, you can still control so much of what you want to do. If you want to put in the work and, like, really grow your channel and you know how to do it, then it's just actually doing it, which is usually the hardest part.
True. Do you consider yourself as someone who does what he does for the sake of art or for some other reason?
I mostly do it just because, well, it's for a couple different things. Obviously, I really, enjoy making the videos and playing through the games, but I also like seeing how people respond as well.
Right, yeah, I
think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's one of the best parts of it. Well, one of the best parts.
Yeah, generally.
What inspires you to make videos?
I mean, it's a lot of different things. Obviously, since this is my full-time job, it's nice to make a little bit of money from it.
Right.
But, I mean, outside of that, I just like seeing, like, what I can do. Like, I like trying to challenge myself with, like, different things. Like, I'm always doing different types of shows all the time. Like every few months, I'll try something new. Then let the show run its course. Then try just kind of repeat the cycle. Always do new stuff.
Right.
So I guess that's what inspires me. I like trying to challenge myself just to see like what I can make.
Right.
So it's like if you feel comfortable with what you're creating on YouTube, you need to change something and challenge yourself.
That's a good point.
Because if you don't adapt, then you're going to die.
Yes.
Honestly, just being totally blunt. I've seen like so many Let's Play channels. I'm not going to name any, but I've seen a lot of Let's Play channels that did great at first and changed nothing for years, and now their channels are like near dead.
Wow.
It's because they didn't innovate at all.
Right.
And that goes for really any genre. Like you have to try different things every once in a while.
And I guess as a side note, like, do you like comparing your older stuff to your newer stuff just to see how you've improved and like what else you could change?
Yeah, I actually I do kind of do that pretty frequently. Just as an example, like if I'm making a triggered video for, I don't know, a Mario Party game, I'll usually go back and watch the older ones just to see like, okay, what jokes really worked here in the context of this game? And also, what jokes did I already use so I don't actually use the same ones? So sometimes I'll do that.
Cool. Out of the series that you produce, which would you say is your favorite and why?
I really like the NB originals. I think those are always really, really fun to make. I actually want to eventually get to the point where I'm like just making those. That'll probably be a long time from now because I still like doing the triggered videos, mind blowing top 10s, any other stuff I make. But I think eventually I want to do like, an NB original like every week or every 2 weeks.
That'd be really cool.
So I'd love to be able to do that just because like, I don't know. I just like doing different things. And with that kind of series, no one really knows how the video is going to go. And that's what I like about it.
That's exactly right.
So I know some people don't like that. They like consistency, but I want to make things different.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. No, I love them too. Cause like every time, like you said, every time that one comes out, it's just like, what the hell is he going to do this time?
What are you going to do next? That's what I'm trying to go for. Yeah.
Because I remember you mentioned the, was it Smash Flash or what? Which one was it with the sitcom?
Oh, Mario 74.
That was Mario 74.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorites, just because of like the intro and the things you did with Carl and Connor. Just like
it was a lot of fun.
Funny.
And I know not everyone liked it. There were a lot of people that were like, "Oh, why didn't I get a game review?" Which I can understand why people were upset by that, but that's why I have other types of content that is more like a review of the game. The NB originals can be anything. It's like a wild card. You're going to go in, you have no idea what you're going to see.
Which is really cool because it's like the first part of it is usually like kind of game review, and then like the last half of it is more like your like live action stuff, which is really fun.
I'm still trying to balance that out. I do think sometimes, I think the biggest flaw with like Smash Flash 2 was that I didn't do enough of actually reviewing the game. I think we focused too much on the skits. Kind of the same with Mario 74. It's like my favorite video I ever made, but I do think we should have focused a bit more on the review itself. So I'm still trying to find like a good mesh of, something really bizarre and crazy with, a review on top of that.
Right. Okay. So growing up, did people consider you weird or particularly different? Because a lot of artists I know kind of felt like that before they even took, what they do seriously. Being that, like you said, you come from a military background and, you're the one that was interested in film.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was bullied all the time, like in middle school, like pretty much every single day. I freaking hated middle school. Same with high school wasn't as bad, but like I didn't really have any friends, like ever. I didn't really start to make like actual friends until like, last year of high school, a little bit in college. But like really the closest friends I've made has been on YouTube.
Right, yeah.
Like even like Carl, I've shared this story a couple times. I met Carl because of YouTube. I did this giveaway and he just so happened to win the giveaway, and that's how I met him. It was like stupid dumb luck. But again, it was through YouTube. That's how I met you, and I've met everyone from Minus World.
Yeah.
They're all like some of the best friends that I've ever had in my life before.
I know, yeah. They're really cool people.
Yeah.
And like I only met them because of you, because I'd heard about I think every single one of them at one point. I was just like, oh, I've heard all these names, but like I never got to know them personally. It's like it's well, for at least for me, it was more difficult, to meet more content creators. And like you contacted me, and that's the way I used to do things, and that's how I met a lot of my friends too. So we have very similar experiences. Pink Gold Peach has been a staple of your channel for a very long time now. My question to you is, what would it take for you to love the character? Answers may not include nothing or get rid of her.
Well, I can't answer that question.
At least try.
I'm excused. No. Screw Pink Gold Peach.
Damn it. Okay.
You're not getting an answer from me on that.
How do you think one becomes a content creator?
I think it's a combination of luck, dedication, and passion. And having connections. You have to have connections too.
Yes.
So I made the decision in like 2015 that I need to start reaching out to people because like my growth was super slow. Nobody knew who I was. But I was still, getting a little bit of growth. It was just like 2 subs a day, 3 subs a day. And that just kind of continued for like over a year. So I just started to like, contact people around my size. But the first guy I contacted had like 10,000 subs. And I had like 6,000, and I just sent him a YouTube message, and he actually got back to me. We did a collab, and that's just basically what I've done. I've just always just like, emailed people, tried to make the connections.
Right. Yeah.
So emails are fine. You can also just, go to conventions and try to meet content creators that way, but that's a lot harder because usually creators that go to conventions are a lot bigger and more established. And it's not to say that, a small channel can't collab with a big channel. It's just a lot less likely,
right,
unless you like personally know them. And the odds of that happening are pretty small. So it's better to just try to collab with people your own size. And then as you start growing, you can collab with people, bigger and bigger and bigger. And
make sure that that you let them know that you're being serious about it too.
Yeah, exactly. You got to take it seriously.
Yeah, because that was a huge thing. I mean, like, not to sound like a dick or anything, but like when you sent me that message, the first thing I did was like check, okay, like how serious is this guy? Like, how serious
I don't blame
is
you.
You
should,
it?
Yeah, it should check.
And when I saw, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I still collab with people that are really small. Like recently, I collab with this guy called Mayor SMM. He has like 18,000 subs, so a pretty small channel compared to mine, but he's uploading all the time. He does really, really cool challenge videos about Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey. He takes it really seriously. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to work with him. It's not necessarily channel size. I got to see the dedication.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's the biggest thing, I guess.
What's the essential thing a content creator must know?
I have no idea how to answer that, honestly.
That's a bit of a toughie.
Yeah, the essential thing they must know?
Yeah.
Don't expect anything. I guess that'd be my biggest thing. You should always start YouTube as a hobby, and if it turns into a bigger thing, cool. But you should never expect that.
Right. What advice do you have for breaking into the business? Aside from be lucky.
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta prepare ahead of time, I would say. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there. I mean, I think you and I were lucky to get into YouTube before it like really blew up. Because like I think if anyone that starts a channel after like, either now or a few years ago, have probably been really struggling. Like you really have to stand out. That's the biggest thing.
There are a lot of exceptions. Like, as we've seen, there are a ton of exceptions where it's like there are people, I mean, I don't want to say that we're necessarily super established, but like we already had like a growing or I guess established, fine, I'll use the word, audience. And then like you see a bunch of people like, I guess to name drop a few because you know them personally, like Dude, Scott the Waz, Nitro Rad, someone else that's like growing rapidly a lot
I'm
too.
always seeing his stuff in the recommended.
Yeah. And like it's amazing. Like me too. Like it's amazing how like despite the time frame, they're still growing, rapidly.
And that's because they stand out, right? And there's a lot of people. Everyone says they want to be a YouTuber. It's like the new, I want to be a movie star.
A movie star, yeah.
It's the same thing, except YouTuber, just because it seems easier, even though it isn't really easier to grow. I don't know where I was going with that.
You just have to stand out. That's
the big thing. You have to stand out, and you have to be dedicated. Like Nitrorad and Scott the Waz. Well, Antude's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
But Scott the Waz and Nitrorad are both pretty new. They're both constantly putting out new stuff. And they're really well produced. They're really fun to watch. So that's why they're growing.
Now, earlier I asked you which one of the parts of the creative process you practice was your favorite, but which do you find the easiest and why?
None of it. Uploading the video, that's pretty easy. Typing in the tags, that's easy.
Even that's a little hard sometimes. Yeah.
Even like audio isn't that easy. Like people would be surprised how long it takes to record a triggered video. It takes anywhere from 20 to 50 minutes. Like if I have a really long script, I will say the lines like 3 times minimum up to 10 times until I get it right. So even recording audio can be difficult.
Yeah, especially if you're flubbing a line over and over and over.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, not a lot of people can do, audio recordings really well. I'm not even that good at it. Like I can't do a lot with my voice. Unfortunately, I really wish I could. So I have to like do a bunch of different takes, just to get like the right cut.
Right. How has the entertainment industry changed since you've begun your career?
Well, I think the biggest thing is like everyone is going digital. It's really interesting. When I was in college, I told a couple professors about like what I was doing and about my channel and stuff, and they didn't steer me away from it. They're like, you should keep doing that. And I thought that was insane because like 5 years ago, no one would have said that, right?
Yeah.
But they know where the future is, and I know where the future is, and that is digital content. It's not the mainstream media. I could have gotten a job at like a TV station, perhaps, or, I could have moved to Hollywood and been like a cameraman or, something like that in California. But this is, I think, the right path to go because this is, a growing industry. It's the digital industry.
And I think it's also because it's accessible to everyone too, like.
Yeah, that's what makes it, well, it's accessible. And again, like we've talked about, everything just feels more personalized when it comes to YouTubers.
Mm-hmm. Like, for example, like when radio started, like that was a huge thing. Like it was like, drop your books, everybody. Radio's in town.
Exactly.
And then like you have your stations here and there, like every town. And then TV killed radio. It's like no one listens to radio anymore. Like what? It's the same thing, but now I can watch something.
Exactly. It's better.
And now with the internet, it's just it's like TV but better.
Yep.
Whenever you want to watch it. What kind of higher education would you say helps professional performing content creators?
Well, I guess it depends on the channel. I know I'm not really giving straight answers for any of these.
No,
so I apologize. It depends on like what kind of channel you want to make. If you are like really focused, if you want to make like a top 10 channel and you're really just focused on bringing in revenue, which that's very, very hard to do to make a channel just for business. Most people can't do that. Then you should get a business degree. You should also take classes in marketing, take classes in like performing, maybe in film, kind of like what I did. I think what really helped me in college was just kind of like learning the programs and kind of like understanding a lot about audio, a lot about video, there's a lot of like really detailed things that people don't really think about, which I have access to, I have the knowledge of. So there's like a lot of different things actually that you could do in college to kind of help you with YouTube. But
what would you recommend for aspiring content creators who are just getting into the whole deal of YouTube, or in your case, game reviews and satire lists and like stuff like that?
Wait, what was the first part?
What would you recommend for them? What would you recommend they do? How would you recommend they go about things?
Just try to do something different. Also, don't give up. Like, if you really want to be a YouTuber, don't give up. You need to be you should be critical of yourself. I'm super critical of myself, like, all the time, which is kind of unhealthy in a way, but it also helps improves what you're doing. So I guess those are, like, the few big things that you should do.
What non-educational requirements and qualifications do you think are needed to become a content creator?
Non-educational? I guess, like, good communication skills. Like I said, you want to make, you want to make connections with people, other content creators that are kind of like you, and get those collabs going. And you can't do that if you have poor communication skills.
Right. Is having a second career necessary for being a content creator?
I think it is if you're just getting started. Like, do not be a guy that has like a family or something, sees that Ninja made $500,000 in a month with Fortnite, and drop your job and just, do YouTube not knowing a single thing. Don't do that. I would definitely recommend having a part-time job if you are starting to get a little bit of revenue from your channel. And then if you can pick up your channel with the part-time job and eventually just get rid of the job, then cool.
Yeah. But
I had a part-time job alongside YouTube for, I think, 3 years. Mm-hmm. So it's not, it's not the big a deal if you have to do that.
Right. What backup jobs do you think would be the most useful for aspiring content creators?
What backup jobs?
Yeah.
Well, something that's part-time, I guess. Something that's not going to be super exhausting.
Right.
Which is kind of hard because most jobs kind of make you feel drained.
Mm-hmm.
So
you just get home and you're like, I just want to sleep.
Yeah. Like if you have to see the people that make it on YouTube are those that will go to work for, 5 to 6 hours, maybe more, then get home, and instead of watching TV, they're going to get on their computer and work on a video. Yeah, that's what I did for like 2 years straight, basically. There was no breaks. Now, thankfully, I don't have any other job outside of this, so I'm not like literally dying anymore, which is nice. But that is something that you're just going to have to suck up if you really want to do it. It's going to be super exhausting.
Right.
So very few people will go from 0 to 1 million subs. That's like winning a lottery. Very few channels have had that luck, but for most people, you got to grind hard.
Mm-hmm. It's like an RPG. Gotta grind.
Yeah, exactly. Except it's real life.
Except it's real. Dude, could you imagine, like, if that was... I think there actually is a game based on that.
PewDiePie made a... It wasn't an RPG. It was like... He made some phone game called YouTuber Life.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
I tried it. It was actually kind of interesting. Yeah.
Was it, like, accurate?
It was okay.
It was all right.
It was about as good as a YouTube theme game's gonna get, I'd say.
That's cool. What is the most common second career content creators seem to have? Like, have you met a lot of people who like have a part-time or like another job on top of YouTube, and do you notice a theme between like those people?
In terms of the types of careers they have?
Yeah.
Well, I don't. So I know like half of Minus World has part-time jobs. Like not everyone in Minus World is doing this full-time, but I don't really know what kind of jobs they have necessarily.
So like it doesn't really matter.
I don't think it matters, honestly.
Right. What's the most common mistakes do you believe aspiring or amateur content creators make?
The most common mistakes. Well, I kind of talked about this earlier, but getting comfortable, I would say that is a pretty common mistake, because if you get comfortable doing the same thing over and over, then you're not really challenging yourself, and that makes you lazier, and then it makes your videos generally not as good if you're not trying to do anything new or different, trying to improve it overall. Also, taking things too seriously. If you can't take criticism from a mean comment, then don't do YouTube at all. So if you're sensitive, like seriously, this is not for you. There's other jobs you can have where you're not going to get critiqued every single day.
Yeah, it's just the simple thing. Do what I say. Here it's like, oh, I fucked up something I told myself to say.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's kind of harder. What's the usual process that you go into when making a video?
Well, it pretty much always starts with a script. Now, some videos like stream highlights, which I'll do every once in a while, or even like I started this new backwards series. Sometimes it'll all be improvised, but for the most part, I usually start with a script while I'm playing through a game. And then as I'm writing the script, I'll usually record footage, or sometimes I'll record game footage after writing the script. And then after that, I record the audio, and then, get the game footage. I haven't already done that already. And then edit it all together. I usually make the thumbnail either before the project or after the project. It's never in between. And then obviously just upload after that.
Right. What's the usual routine of an average NB original session for you?
Oh, it's so much brainstorming. That's the biggest thing. I mean, my routine is different every time. Like, for this upcoming one, I announced that I'm doing a sequel to the mini Mario 64 ROM hacks. I've been listening to a lot of video game music from a variety of games. I've been listening to the Mario and Luigi OST, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. A lot. I need to like clear my mind just to brainstorm how I kind of want to piece it together. So, but generally, NB Originals always start with a script. Then I'll get gameplay after that. Then I'll record the audio. Then I'll do all the live action stuff at the end, and then edit all of that together.
Right. And it's actually very interesting. Like the music you mentioned, they're more adventure type games, and knowing what I know about the script, like, does that influence the way you want to go about the video?
Yeah. Because I think, when I'm usually working, sometimes I'll listen to music and it's like the same thing over and over. And that's fine. But when you're trying to work on something, as expansive as this video is going to be, you need to really, you need to take your mind somewhere else, and without using, drugs. So
that's a really good point.
So without using drugs, you got to listen to something differently. At least that's what I do. Sometimes I'll go for like long walks, just so I can just like let my mind just like flow. And then sometimes I'll, do something super repetitive. So I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. And then that way my mind will open up to like all these random ideas.
Right.
Like, I actually, when I used to be a pizza driver for Papa John's, I thought of so many things for videos when I was driving, because it was so goddamn boring.
Right.
Like, I thought of Howl Nathaniel Rage while I was driving Papa John's.
No shit, really? That's
I thought of
awesome.
The entire show. Like, I was writing it down. like while I was driving. You shouldn't do that, guys. I was writing carefully. I was writing down like all the ideas I had for the show. It was entirely developed in my car.
I like to imagine you're just in an intersection like with a notepad.
That was literally me on my phone writing all the ideas down, coming up with the segments, the where you have to like guess like what's gonna happen when I rage, all that stuff.
Right. When are you bringing that back? I think a lot of people want to know that too.
I know people still ask about it. Honestly, I haven't been passionate about it.
Right. Yeah.
And like I said, you got to do what you want to do, because otherwise, like, what's the point? You might as well just get a normal job where like you're not as happy. Because like a lot of people, unfortunately, most people have jobs that they aren't happy with. It's really hard to find the medium of you have a job and you like it, right? So if I'm in a job that I like, so why would I make something that I don't enjoy? Because not only does that impact me, but the viewers can also see that. If you aren't genuine with your content, the viewers can see it no matter what. You can't fake that.
That was actually what I was gonna like bring up too. A lot of people have said, and I think you're gonna agree with them, is that if you're enjoying it, your audience will enjoy it as well.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Is there anything you do to improve your skills, be it make your own private videos you never release or anything like that?
Really, to improve your skills, you just have to practice a lot. So I know everyone says this, like they hate their old videos from like 2 years ago. But the thing is, if you didn't make those videos 2 years ago, you wouldn't be where you are today.
Yes.
So that's the thing. You have to just constantly make videos, continue to work your craft, try different things, like I said, and over time, you're just going to naturally improve.
I tell people all the time, because they're like, oh God, I'm listening to me like 2 years ago. It's like just so cringy. It's like, why?
Yeah, like, it's obviously it's not going to be as good, which is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That means you've improved.
Exactly.
And that's also why I don't delete my old videos, because I know some people might be interested to see what did I do back then versus, how have I changed now?
And it's not even about being embarrassed about it too, because it's just like, this is what I could do back then. That was the best I could do,
and people liked it back then. So it's really not that big a deal. Like again, it's a good thing if you don't like your old stuff. That means you're improving. So.
Right. You have a new standard.
Improvement.
Ah, Mr. Bandy, I can't wait to do that again. Do you sometimes act as one of your characters when writing them? Because I know that you don't really have a lot of characters on like your NB originals or like the Frustration series, but
I don't really have a characters. I kind of like have an slightly over exaggerated version of myself, but not really, because I don't know. I just try to act genuine for the most part.
Right.
But like sometimes, I'll kind of, go over the top a little bit just because like in that moment, it probably would be better than just me be acting, normal.
Right. It's just funnier for like the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
What should a content creator always do?
You have to enjoy what you're doing.
Good answer. What should a content creator never do?
Not enjoy what you're doing. make videos that will do well, but you don't like it.
Yes.
Which, good for you if you're one of those channels that can make videos you hate making, but they give you, millions of dollars.
Right.
But the odds of that happening is slim to none. So.
What would you say to someone who wants to start a business in, I don't know why I didn't personalize this question. What would you say to someone who wants to start a business in either content creating or filmmaking?
Do your research and be careful. Save your money too. If because the thing is with YouTube, your income fluctuates all the time.
Yes.
And especially like now that I'm at the point that I'm at, I don't even look at my analytics because I hate seeing, my numbers drop, because it's like when you get to the point where you're actually making a lot and then you see so much go away, over some months, which is natural. I don't like looking at that.
Yeah, no,
I really don't.
Oh, shit.
Like I don't even I don't know how much I'm making this month. I haven't looked at all in May. Honestly,
it's just having enough confidence and being like, yeah, I'll make it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good. I have saved up.
Yeah, exactly. So save your money. Like I've been good at that my entire life, but not everyone's good at saving their money.
Because I think like another thing about that is we invest in equipment a lot. Like,
yeah, exactly. This is expensive. You have to keep that in mind. Like you can't just go in with your mom's old camera, some microphone you found in the basement, and a laptop with Windows XP. You have to actually upgrade with everyone else because there is so much competition out there. You have to compete with everyone else if you want any chance.
Yes.
No guarantee you're going to succeed. Any chance at being successful.
You technically could do all those things, but you'd have to be really funny in order to sell it.
Yeah, you'd have to be incredibly talented, like Simple Flips, right?
Yeah.
So there's only so many Simple Flips out there.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
if you are one of those people, then congratulations.
Good for you.
But not everyone is like that. A lot of people really have to work, to really grow on YouTube.
And I mean, it's funny too that you mentioned that, because for the longest time I think with voice acting is one of the things where it's like, I would hear a lot of people critique like, oh, you're using a USB mic? Ugh, gross. And it's like, the fuck is wrong with a USB mic? They're fine. And then when we upgraded to these, I'm like, oh.
Whoa, this is better.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, for like the average listener, they won't really tell. They can't
Until
really tell
you upgrade.
Exactly.
That's when you notice the difference.
Well, unless you've been working with it, you're like, oh, shit.
Right.
There is a difference.
Now, I think we should also keep in mind, when you're starting, it's okay to have, like a blue snowball or a blue Yeti.
Yeah,
like it's
definitely.
fine to start with that because you can, tweak your audio. And if you don't have like a 4K camera, that's fine. I don't have one. I just have a basic 1080p camera. That's fine. But you need to have at least the bare minimum to start, right? You can't be using some crappy microphone that picks up everything around the room.
Yeah.
You got to have something decent.
Because I think a lot of people, I don't know if Drew did a lot of stuff before we met him, but like he came out the gate like with really high quality stuff.
Yeah, well, he was doing other things before. I think he has like Let's Plays or something. I don't know. He was the man with the plan. Back in the day.
The man with the plan. Because he just like came out of the gate and like his first few videos are really high quality and all that stuff. And he went in knowing like this is what I want to do.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, Nintendo he's one of those channels that really has grown a lot recently. And that's because he's really incredibly dedicated and passionate about what he's doing. Remember,
and he stands out, which is what you said earlier.
He told us the way that he makes videos is he wants to make something that he would want to watch. And I think that is really, really cool, actually.
Exactly.
That's a really good mindset to have. Make something that like you would want to watch.
Because imagine, like, you're just watching your own video and you're like, oh, I hate this. Like,
yeah, then why are you making it?
Exactly.
Right? You have to like what you're making.
Why would anyone else watch it if you don't like it?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, we are sadly reaching the end of the interview, ending it with the famous questionnaire, popularized by French writer Marcel Proust, asked years later by French TV personality Bernard Pivot, adapted by James Lipton on his interviews. Nathan, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word? Instacuck.
No, you can't take that one from me. That's my favorite.
I like that word.
That's a really good word. Ah, shit. I didn't see that coming. Okay. What is your least favorite word?
Cringe.
Cringe.
Cringe. It is the most overused word I've ever seen in my entire life.
Would you say it's the cringiest word?
It is. It's cringy how much people use the word cringe.
Yeah, it's literally the cringiest
word.
Like,
people will say this video's cringe when they just mean this video is bad. But that's not what cringe means.
Yeah.
You're changing the meaning. It's not even going to mean cringe in like 10 years.
Exactly.
It's just going to be, you're going to literally just mean bad. And then the actual meaning of cringe is just going to be a new word.
The way that bad means good nowadays with the youngins. It's
yeah,
like,
honestly.
Oh, dude, that chick's so bad. It's like, oh, you don't like her? It's like, nah, she's hot. Then why'd you say she's bad? The fuck? What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally? I know sexually the answer is me, but...
Oh, well. That's going a little far. I don't know. I mean, we kind of already answered that before, right?
Right.
Like, just, the audience interaction is really fun. Just making something that, like, I think is really interesting and, entertaining. I like being able to share that with people.
What turns you off? Again, I know the answer is me, but...
What turns me off?
Creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
When a video gets demonetized.
Oh.
And it's not so much because it's not making money. The problem is that when a video gets demonetized, no one's going to be able to find it. It doesn't pop up in search.
Really?
It doesn't show up in recommended.
Oh, shit.
That's
I didn't
the
know
biggest problem. Like, if I lose a little bit of money on one video, whatever, who cares? But when your video doesn't show up in recommended, that's a problem.
Yeah, because you're not getting the traffic from.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, that's pretty much gone away, I think, for a lot of people. But that was a huge turnoff. And it was like the worst timing for that to happen, because that was like when I just finished college. I remember it was during the summer of 2017. And I was uploading a lot, streaming a lot. Then all my videos started to get demonetized as I was starting to pick up traffic. I'm like, what the heck? This is not cool. Why is this happening?
Sucks.
I'm not doing anything wrong. And it was like that until like, I don't know, October, November?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So like August and September was very demotivating to like upload stuff.
Yes. Oh, there's something else I wanted to add to that. Oh yeah, well, I mean, even if you're not making money, so like you still put effort into that. So I still feel like you should be remunerated a little bit for that.
Exactly, yeah.
What is your favorite curse word?
Like favorite curse word? Instacuck.
Does that count as a curse word? I guess it does, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably that's close enough.
Close enough, yeah. What sound or noise do you love?
What sound of noise do I love?
Sound or noise do you love?
Oh.
Yeah.
When Gary says, "Oh man." Oh man.
That's Gary? I thought that was Tracy.
Oh yeah, Tracy.
Oh man.
What sound or noise do you hate? When Tracy goes, "Oh man."
Oh man.
Oh man.
I don't know. That's a weird question. I guess someone trying to impersonate a Pokemon and they can't do it. Simple Flip's Waluigi impersonation. His was horrible. He was like, I'm Waluigi. Like, no, it's horrible.
Shout out to Simple Flips. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Really just this, I guess. This is kind of what I wanted to lead up to, but I didn't think I would be doing it through YouTube.
Right. But like, if you could choose like something that's like really weird and you'd be like, that'd be cool, I guess.
I'd probably be like a professional drummer.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
What profession would you not like to do?
Fast food.
Because I've done it.
Yeah.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What is wrong with you?
Why?
How will Nathaniel rage?
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Could you imagine?
I would be terrified. Play the game, Nathan.
Play the game. Oh, no, could you imagine if that's just... That's what you hear when you go to hell.
Play the game, Nathan. Yeah, so if I go to hell, that's what I'm going to hear.
Specifically in the spirit's voice.
Yes, it will just be the spirit.
Yeah. What can we look forward with you? I guess.
Well, obviously, I'm going to keep uploading videos. I guess the big thing is I am eventually just going to try to like veer off to just like focus just on like NB originals, but I'm not quite at that point yet, because like I want to get there when I see, when those videos can get like, a really comfortable amount of views every single time.
Of course. Which
I'm not quite there yet. If maybe once they get to like at least 100, 200,000 views easily, within the first couple days, then I'll probably start to really focus on those. But for now, I want to keep doing a variety of things.
Right. Okay.
So,
where can we follow you on social media?
Follow my Instagram. I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers.
Hey.
Nathaniel Bandy. You can also follow my Twitter. I post a lot of dumb shit at Nathaniel Bandy 1.
Oh, that one. That Nathaniel
damn
Bandy one.
Someone stole my name like 4 or 5 years ago.
And I can't believe you've never been able to get it back. Like,
Nope.
D-Pad got his Twitter handle. I don't know why you can't.
I'm not even going to try now. I already have a bunch of followers on there anyway, so.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Well, Nate, it's not often I get to tell people how I feel about them face to face, as I am now. And even then, I'm just like, avert his gaze, because you're going to like feel really weird about it.
All right.
But for as much as an openly emotional person as I am, I do have a hard time being very vocal about it, opting to instead tell people through text. I like telling people through text, how I feel, because it's less personal in a way, and like I don't get to see people's reaction right away, or through other nonverbal means. But you've helped me more than I thought anyone could. You're one of the people who has placed their trust in me as both an artist and as a friend. I've made some of the closest friends in my life, not only in the form of you, but because of you. And once our one deal partnership has evolved into an ongoing one where, you know, we get to meet up with each other like every year now, have fun and do the things we love. I love you, buddy. So,
I love you too, dude.
Is there anything else you want to add for the viewers and other fans of your work?
Strive for originality.
Yo, sick. And with that, we're going to end today's interview. But thank you so much, Nate. And for everyone listening, thank you so much for sticking with us for, wow, I actually thought this would go on for a little bit longer.
Just short of an hour.
Yeah. Awesome.
Or over an hour.
Yeah. All right, so everyone, next time, I don't know who, the next interview will probably be Nintendo because we're going to his house really soon.
Yep.
After that, it's going to be the rest of Minus World. I don't know in what order, so we're just going to have to wait until then. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and stay awesome. This is Char5 signing off.
Bye.